Capricorn, hey, what is going on? Welcome into the channel. So happy to be here with you. My name is Deborah, owner of Purusha Holistic Wellness, and this is another episode of Purusha Intuitive, where we're going to look at your energy whenever you find this reading for the next week or so via the tarot, astrology, any channeled messages that come through. And we will also incorporate it with some Ayurvedic or holistic wellness practices that really can help support and enliven our optimal functioning. So let's get into it. I hope that things are moving well for you in your life right now. We did just have a full moon in Capricorn, which hopefully was nice for your energy. Usually Capricorn, earth signs, when we have the full moon in a placement of our sign, it really helps us go after what we're desiring, what we're trying to bring in and manifest in our life. We're also in a period where planets are going into retrograde. I should make a side note. I use the current astrology when I'm recording these readings, but the messages are timeless. So even if the astrology doesn't necessarily match up, just take what messages resonate, leave the rest behind. I'm sure you know the drill. But we are in a season where there are a few planets going into retrograde. Mercury's in retrograde, Pluto's in retrograde, and Neptune is going to follow, and Saturn as well at the end of the month. So retrogrades really help us kind of slow down and reevaluate, especially when we are coming off the full moon and we're in the waning phases of the moon cycle. It allows us to take note, take stock of what has been working for us, where we're finding our benefit, our momentum, that life-giving energy, and where those places are that are popping up that are really highlighting where we're being slowed down, or it's just not resonating, just not vibing with our energy any longer. And we're in Cancer season, which ends up just highlighting, escalating some of the emotional and intuitive component to what we are navigating. But it is helping us make change. And I'm hearing this as making good, positive, practical changes for yourself. Things that actually make sense, which I think you probably have an easier time doing than most of the signs in the zodiac, because you do represent hard work, commitment, determination. And oftentimes when there is a block or a limitation in energy, you're really good at finding ways to work around, which is amazing. Also, we want to make sure that we're not becoming too rigid, too controlling of our environment or what is happening around us, making sure that we are staying open and flexible to the flow. I've been talking about this a lot with clients, other intuitive healers, etc., where there really is this need to kind of temper how we are making movements forward, especially because we don't want to do anything too hastily, making sure that you're vetting the opportunities or what you do actually want, if it does vibe and resonate with you. Not necessarily getting out of something just to get out of it, but making sure that you're actually stepping into something that's going to give you a little bit more empowerment, strength, and stability in your life. That's why I like to start off the readings with an energy cleansing. Just set the tone, set the vibe for the reading. Cleanse out those places we might feel blocked or limited. It's a really good time to set your own intention as well, especially if you have come in with something on your heart, on your mind, something you would like Spirit to deliver messages to you around. Definitely give that over, Capricorn. Be open to receive. Spirit is always looking to connect and speak to us, always has our back. We just often have to ask and be open to receiving, right? You can also totally skip ahead of this portion of the reading if this is not your vibe. I have been listing the chapters down below. And you'll still receive the good vibes, the good blessings, I should say. I also offer a variety of healing and wellness services. Readings are one of them. If you want me to look at your specific situation, how it's faring, where it's headed, or if you are interested in more of that realignment of self, your mind, your body, your soul. I do energy healing as well as Ayurvedic or holistic wellness consultations. Because when we are strong, grounded, established in self, that really helps us align with our happiness, our fulfillment, and it helps make manifestation that much easier. And I would totally love to help support you in whatever way possible. Definitely hit me up. All the info to get into contact with me is in the description box below. All right, Capricorn, let's get into it. I bless you with pure love and light, pure source energy, pure loving grace. I release anything that is not for your highest and best. Any fears, doubts, insecurities, lack of worth, lack of value, pain, anger, frustration, impatience, overwhelm. Cleanse it and release it from our being so we may see and understand the messages clearly. Help to make me a clear and open channel for the collective. Thank you, Father God, spirit guides, guardian angels, Mama Love. Mama Love. All right, Capricorn, I hear like you are taking some risks in your life right now. I think it's good stuff. It's stuff that you're a little uncertain around. Like you might be risking something that feels risky, if that makes sense. This value of making sure that you're not hurting yourself in the long run. Like I feel like you're making some decisions, choices that, yes, I think on the best day, you want to believe that it's going to work out exactly how you envision it. But there's also a little bit of fear attached to it. And I feel like this is part of getting a little bit comfortable in self, or maybe playing it safe. Earth energy does this a lot with the blanket. Playing it safe, not necessarily seeing what your real potential is, what you're actually truly made of. I don't mean that in a negative way. It looks like you've kind of had a lot of responsibility on your plate lately, or you haven't had enough room to breathe and just be okay, be at peace with your life. That kind of getting everything up and running in a systematic way where maybe you don't have to pay a lot of attention to certain things. It's stuff, passive achievements. I'm thinking of it through that realm of passive income. You might be establishing some of that for yourself, or just like, again, having a really strong schedule, a really strong day-to-day functioning that's helping give you a little bit more space. And as you're gaining in this space, it feels like it's also giving you clarity around the things that do feel a little bit more life-honoring and giving, and the places that I feel like you haven't really given yourself enough space. Sorry, I really don't mean that in a way to be redundant, but that's what's coming through. Like you haven't given yourself enough freedom and flexibility. It feels like it has been really buttoned up. And this is where I hear some of those decisions are coming into play that might feel a little uncomfortable or scary. Again, because you're not necessarily used to doing it or being so free and flexible with yourself. But I really like this spacesuit because I think what I'm hearing is like you're trying something new. It feels like a level up in the way that you're trusting yourself on a deeper level. You're putting yourself out there or going after the desires of your heart, whatever that looks like to you. It does look like you have a strong and solid foundation built for yourself, like a solid foundation to come back to. But I feel like you're also learning how to reintegrate some of this level up or what you're desiring to bring into your life. Maybe you're just cultivating the foundation, the soil right now for what you're trying to manifest, what you're trying to bring in. With the flying fish, this always reminds us to believe in the miraculous, believe in the things that seem impossible, right? We don't really think of fish as flying animals. So that value of, I think this is like what I'm hearing for you, Capricorn, is this is the exact foundation that you're building for self. And it is directly connected to the way that you're feeling supported and nurtured by not only yourself, but your environment as well. We have to make sure that we have that strength and stability when we are trying to level up. If the life or environment around us is super chaotic, we're only going to get so far because it's calling our attention to other things. And it looks like, I feel like you've done some reworking of that lately. And now it's understanding how you can sustain some of the things that you are inviting in as a result of some of the stuff that you're clearing out, that you're moving away. I love the pruning shears for you. I think this is really good. I think this is a lot about you being cognizant, being mindful of where your support, where that life force energy is coming into play. And I feel like the inspiration that you're feeling, you want to keep that alive. You want to keep that up and running. I think some of the hesitancy that I'm picking up is you're used to things being guaranteed, or if I do A plus B, it's going to get me the results of C. And I feel like you're working a little bit more with like the dance of manifestation. Recognizing, yes, I think there is natural order to things, but manifestation isn't always linear. And sometimes there's a workaround, or there's ways that if we can align powerfully, intentionally, it delivers us what we want and what we need at the time necessary. Yeah, so getting out of your comfort zone, this makes a lot of sense. I think that I'm hearing like not to be too hard on yourself with what that looks like. There might be some self-criticisms that you're dealing with, that you're trying to let go of, places that you put a lot of responsibility on yourself, where that rigidity is not necessarily paying off for you. And specifically because it keeps you in a place of limitation or fear or, I don't know. Like, I think it's just messages that have been sent to you in past relationships, past dynamics, whether it's love or business or friends or wherever this comes from. It definitely has this vibe of like maybe giving other people or other dynamics a little bit too much power or listening to them too often. And now you're in a space where you are kind of creating exactly what that home base looks like for you. So you're learning to trust yourself. I think the comfortability, the thing about earth energy is we can get very comfortable and very stuck because earth energy is very slow in terms of elements. I'll just say that elements, period. It's like the grossest level of consciousness. And so it definitely can be a little heavy, a little weighty. Not that that has ever stopped you, Capricorn, because I feel like you're very good at dealing with those energies. But this is more about how to trust in the systematic structure you've set up for yourself, how to trust in that, and then release some of the control or surrender some of the control. Okay, the Hierophant. I think you're used to making sure that everything is on point at all times. Also, it does look like you have some people that you do trust, some people that you do rely on, speaking to you in a way that's making you feel limited, that's making you question yourself, question your own ability, or like the ability to trust yourself and trust the decisions that you do want to make. 8 of Swords is when we limit ourselves because of the thoughts, the fears, the anxieties, right? When we basically talk ourselves out of a decision. And it does look like it's not necessarily coming from you. I feel like you have an idea. I feel like you have a good idea. It feels a little bit magical. It feels a little bit hopeful, but you never know what the answer is going to be if you don't try. And it does kind of look like you have someone or something or a group of people telling you to wait, telling you to be smart, giving you a perspective that, yes, on some level it makes sense. And I do see it coming from a place of care, or maybe wanting to make sure that you're fulfilling your role is what I'm hearing. It's not a bad thing, but it might not be the healthiest given the context of the relationship and dynamic. Because again, this is someone who's wanting you to keep in line, so to speak. And not from a place of control, but in the way that we want to keep everything up and running smoothly. However, you're not getting the support or the help that you need from them, from whomever, whatever is telling you how to do something. And it is keeping you, it's keeping you stuck, essentially is what this is saying. It's keeping you stuck. It's keeping you limited in a place where you're not really making certain changes because of aspects that feel really comfortable. And maybe even on some level, like things that don't seem that bad on the surface, changes that you do know that you want to make, that you do want to see happen in your life, but aren't hard pressed or aren't making you feel a certain kind, or it's not making you feel that bad. This energy has come up a lot in the astrology lately. That's why I do like Neptune going into retrograde this week, because it does help us connect more authentically to what our intuition is telling us. So it looks like certain aspects of what you have invested in, or like people, situations, dynamics that you do rely on, don't feel as reliable. I feel like you are breaking the mold around something, and it's up to you. It's up to you to break it. I feel like you're actually way more ready to do that than what you even know. And I think a lot of the things that are happening to you this week are pushing you in that direction, pushing you in the direction that your heart authentically wants to go. Because that, again, is building that life force energy for you, the place that you do receive your sustenance, your nourishment. And yeah, it might be something different than what someone or something expects from you, but at the same time, it's not necessarily a bad thing. Because with this flying fish, you're getting the opportunity to, cast your net, throw something out there, see what sticks, see what feels right. There's clarity that's coming in that I think this is actually really important for your situation. It's information that's giving you better insight, especially around this dynamic here. And it looks like whomever, whatever you are dealing with doesn't want you to have that insight, or is just, again, like it feels like operation from this space of not wanting the dynamic to change, like liking how everything is, not wanting you to rebel or do things differently or make things uncomfortable or whatever it may be. But at the same time, it kind of looks really uncomfortable for you. Not something that feels really, it's not bad. Oh, this is so powerful. I love this, Capricorn. It's not a bad thing, but it's one of those things that eats away at you the longer you stay in it, the longer you kind of cater or feed this energy. And I'm not seeing this as like people that you have to specifically let go of. I'm seeing this more as people that you have to stand up to. People that love to have an opinion about you or about your life or what you're doing or how you're doing it, but aren't really like helping compensate for the things that they're critiquing and criticizing. Yeah. Yeah. Like just kind of a very dictatorial energy, wanting to tell you what to do, but not really lifting a finger to help or whatever. Or always just wait it out, just wait. There's always some type of excuse is what it looks like with this energy that you're dealing with. And I think some of this is their own fear. It's their own fear, but this is exactly what you would be uncovering if you can kind of work yourself out of this limitation this week. Whatever fear something is trying to ingrain into you, it doesn't have to be that way. And it's easy for our emotions to latch on 100%. We're in Cancer season. But at the same time, you overcoming this, and you will at some point, however long it takes. And that's not good, bad, right, or wrong. Everything has its order, its natural progression. It also feels like you're on the heels of making some changes and adjustments. Exactly what I'm picking up that this dynamic is wanting you to slow down a little bit more on. But I'm also hearing it's a great time to listen to your intuition and trust it. And it feels like whatever this Ace of Swords is, it's an open conversation. It's curiosity. It's going into a space, a new space, something that feels like you're being drawn to have honest conversation, questions, understanding. And it gives a lot of insight and clarity to the point that, again, this is pushing you in a new direction in a very powerful way and shedding some of this energy that is kind of dead weight or holding you back, holding you down. And it might be this thing that's not even like that horrible, right? Again, I keep picking that up where it's actually going to do you a world of good to kind of separate yourself to some capacity from whatever dynamic is feeding into you so that you can have a little bit more of your own clarity and autonomy. And it is the thing that's flipping your perspective. And as I'm talking about this, one of the readings lately was talking about how, we really do have to end up trusting ourselves. And yes, it's great to listen to what other people's opinions are, what they have to say. If it rings true, then it is truth for your soul. But at the same time, if it's something that's kind of making you feel a little bit off or funky or like this really doesn't resonate, then that in and of itself is a message right there. Clarity of insight. And that's really what your soul is calling out to you for right now, Capricorn, is this clarity of insight. I feel like you have clarity on a lot of different levels. And I feel like it's things that you might be struggling to be honest with about to yourself. Again, not in a detrimental way. In a way of just giving yourself more power is what I'm hearing. I feel like once you have this clarity or once you kind of are very honest with yourself around what something is, it's going to help you shed the need, the attachment, the expectations, and transition into your power that much more. This feels really good. I love it. It's getting out of your own way, right? That's really what this comes down to, childlike play. So have a little bit of fun. This makes a lot of sense, Capricorn, because your energy is so strong. I have mad props for Capricorn. It is amazing, just your ability to sustain and endure and make things happen and overcome and empower. But sometimes it feels like we can just be a little bit serious if we're in that place too often in our life. Adult life is already way too serious. We need to have more fun. We need to give ourselves credit where credit is due, allow ourselves to relax, to play, to enjoy. the fruits of our labor, what you have grown and built. And maybe to some capacity, this energy that you are relying on for information and direction, it's keeping you rigid as well. The Hierophant, it's Taurus energy. It's also Earth energy. It also has a certain box limitation around it, not in a bad way. Sometimes we need that discipline and structure. But also, when that's something that's very innate within you, oftentimes we have to bring out that counterpart, the other side of having fun, playing, enjoying life a little bit. And that's what's attracting this kindred support. It doesn't mean that this is not kindred support. I feel like this is something that is very important to you. It could be family, it could be close friends, business partners, people that you really rely on and trust. And that's good, right? I'm just not 100% certain it's actually your soul tribe, soul family, so to speak, in the way that this gives you structure, but this gives you the sustenance. This gives you what it actually means to like thrive in the most optimal way. And that's where I feel like you're being challenged a little bit to trust your instincts, trust the guidance, trust the direction. Yes, listen, or, maybe not. I don't know. Especially if you feel like people are operating out of a little bit more fear, limitation, definitely pay attention to that this week. The transits are getting a little bit softer, not so much intensity. It's giving us the power to kind of see things a little bit more clearly, that clarity of perception, not so much out of the emotion or out of like the anger, the passion, the aggression, more from that space of intellect and saying like, okay, this is what's going on. Now I need to figure out how I'm going to adjust myself accordingly. All right, Capricorn, thank you so much for the time, energy always. I hope you enjoyed this reading. I hope you found messages that resonated for you here. Definitely drop comments below if you did. I love to connect. It also helps support, honor, grow the channel. I love to just hear how things resonate or connect, say hey, share in a little love, a little TLC. I so appreciate all the love, all the support to the channel. Know it blesses my heart, and I am always sending that love and blessings back to you.